art nerds! I am back today with the 10th illustration in the Not Your Basic Witch series. Today's prompt was potions, mishap, disaster. It's a little bit of a mess, kind of like the illustration. I basically drew this girl in her kitchen, and there's smoke everywhere from her, like, I was gonna say crock pot, but her, like, actual potion pot cauldron, and there's like green goop everywhere. That's the extent of it. Really. Okay, you can go now. It's fine. I really like the background in this. I tried to not have a window in the room for a change, because there's windows in just about every single one of my illustrations right now, which is a thing I'm realizing. I did really like the colors and how it came together on this one versus a lot of the others have had more pink and purple in them, which I'm all about. I really love purple, but I just wanted something different. My biggest complaint with this illustration is that I haven't quite found the right way to make the characters pop off of these backgrounds, and I know that it's not just because of the color choices, like my limited color palette, like I know that that's not exclusively it, but for this illustration specifically, that's what I felt it was. Like, I've done 10 of these, and my choices of hair color have basically been like brown, blonde, and black, but then also my backgrounds are like yellow, dark blue, or brown, and that just didn't work in my favor in this particular illustration because I chose to have the background be a lot of like yellows and orange and browns, and then her skin tone is pretty much like a sort of tanned skin tone, and her hair is brown. It was just a lot of brown, and you can't, she doesn't pop up off the background at all. And I'm really happy with how my line art is going, so I don't really want to mess around with that. But I don't know. That's my primary complaint with this, was that looking back on it, like having it in front of me completed, she just doesn't pop up off enough of the background, even though I like the background. So that was my bitching, essentially. So yeah, we are 10 illustrations in on this series, and I think it's going pretty well. I mean, it's going pretty well. I feel like I'm getting more and more confident with just kind of like going into an illustration, and also with sort of planning things out ahead of time. I'm definitely enjoying it more than I thought I necessarily would. Even when I don't really know how to do something, just kind of winging it, I'm learning. So that's the takeaway. You make stuff and then you learn from it. Who knew? I want to encourage everyone to do something like this, to do a full color illustration every day for like a month, or to do Inktober and do a full like inked illustration. Even if you don't, like, do not, under any circumstances, unless you do not have a day job or you don't want to sleep for 30 days, don't film a video every day. Don't do it. The filming of this actually doesn't take that much time because it's not taking me that much time to paint them, but figure that I spend about a half an hour to 45 minutes practicing the illustration before I start, by which I mean I take my original thumbnail that I did at the beginning of the month, and I just try and like key in exactly what I want it to look like in like half or quarter page sketches in my sketchbook. Like, I practice the illustration ahead of time to just make sure that I know what I'm going to be drawing and that I know like the angle I want to use or whatever. Sometimes I'll do like a color test, but figure about a half an hour practicing the illustration, about an hour, sometimes like 35 minutes if I'm lucky, but usually like 45, to actually sketch it this large and have it like come out the way that I want it to, and then 45 minutes to an hour inking it, because there's all of these itty bitty little details that I'm doing with fine liners and then an hour to maybe 3 hours painting it, depending on what it is. I'm using a hairdryer, so like this one only took an hour to actually like illustrate it. It took an hour to paint it, specifically to paint it, but it still took me 45 minutes to ink it and like an hour to sketch it out. So adding on top of that the amount of time it takes to like transfer footage and edit footage and upload footage and make a thumbnail, don't do that. Don't do that. If you want your art to be better, do a 30-day challenge. You learn so much from doing a project like this. Absolutely. Every time I do a project like this, you learn so much. You get so much better. You get faster at making decisions, because this picture is not going to be the best picture I ever paint. God help me. It will not be the best picture I ever paint. None of the illustrations in this series are going to be the best pictures that I ever paint, but each one will be a little bit better than the previous one. And that's only going to come by practicing. It's only going to come by doing more art. And even if you do a lot of art that you don't like in 30 days, you'll do a couple of pieces at least that you do like. And every one of those will be another step in the right direction of experimenting with your art, learning how to do things the way that you want to do them versus the ways you think you should do them or the ways that you know how to do them. Don't film them. Like, don't try and do a video every day for 30 days, because I'll tell you right now, it is the 21st of April when I am recording this audio to edit this video. This is the 10th illustration. I am so far behind. It's hilarious. And I've got other illustrations already done. I've got the footage for other illustrations, but either like accident or design, I am so far behind. And that would not be the case illustration-wise if I weren't trying to also do videos. So make lots of art, my fellow nerds, and enjoy it and learn from it. But if you're doing a 30-day challenge, you absolutely do not have to film it, and you don't have to learn from it as a YouTube lesson. You can learn from it as an art lesson, unless that's your thing, unless you have time. If you've got a month of vacation or something coming up, we've got school holidays coming soon, so maybe think about doing it then. But this was my illustration for this week's challenge. I hope you enjoyed it, and I will see you next time for the 11th illustration in this series. You have an awesome nerdy day, and go make something. Bye!